What a wonderful Wednesday it is today. What a wonderful Wednesday it is today. So much going on in the world of sports. My name is Spence Drake. I'll be your host of the new and improved Chatterbox Talk Show. Man, it feels good to be back. With all this COVID stuff going on, I really didn't feel like I would be back doing this. But, I'm really glad to be back doing this. I missed this a lot. It's a lot better. I have my own little studio now. It's kind of cool. I'm not using, headphones anymore. Got me an actual mic. And you take stuff like that for granted, and it's so much better. Sound quality's better. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited too. I hope y'all didn't go dormant on me. There's a good bit of y'all whenever we first started, and I hope to grow from there. Here we are in Ruston, Louisiana. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the NFL today, throw in a little bit of NBA action, and then talk about the MLB. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's go ahead and dive straight in. So CBS Sports released their NFL rankings for this upcoming season that literally starts tomorrow. I hope y'all tune in. Houston at Kansas City. It's going to be a really, really, really fun opener. We'll talk about our predictions and stuff like that for those kind of games later. But I was looking over their preseason rankings. There's not really a preseason to base off of. So you have quarterbacks like Drew Lock, quarterbacks like Cam Newton, Baker Mayfield, Tua, guys like that, and Garner Minshew that really you didn't really get to see in the preseason. So you're basing all of this off of training camp. Well, training camp can only tell you so much when you're going up against the same guys every day, So without further ado, let me go through what they have as their top 32 teams, their ranks of 32 teams. We're going to start at the bottom and go our way top. Now, I'm going to, if I agree with the team, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But if I don't agree with them, I'm going to sit there and I'm going to bash CBS for it because, frankly, their standings are nowhere close to mine that I have written down here. They're completely different. So let's start with number 32. They have the Washington football team. I frankly disagree with this as well. Not that they're not a bottom 30 team. They're ranked number 31 for me. But here's the deal. And the Washington football team, I don't trust Dwayne Haskins to be a starting quarterback in this league. I really don't. When I think about him, I think of a Geno Smith. I think of a guy coming out of college, kind of got high hopes, because he was really good in college. He led Ohio State to winning a bunch of football games. But I don't feel like he's a trusted thrower in this league. Everybody said that about Daniel Jones, so credits to him for proving us all wrong. But I feel like Dwayne Haskins doesn't really have that ability to be able to prove us wrong like that. The defensive front is actually really good. That defensive front is really, really good. Jonathan Allen, all those guys. I do think that is a solid part of their team. But other than that, wide receivers, you got Terry McLaurin. That's about it. Running back situation, they released Adrian Peterson just earlier last week. So I really don't feel like their running back situation is okay because you got Darius Geis released, Adrian Peterson released. So now you're sitting here and you've got Bryce Love, Antonio Gibson, Peyton Barber, and J.D. McKissick as your running back depth chart. J.D. McKissick is not a runner. He's a pass catcher. That's what he'll be in a special teams guy. So that'll be what he's mainly used for this year. Antonio Gibson and Bryce Love, we'll have to see. I think Bryce Love could end up being a solid running back in this league. Yeah, he had a lot of college presence about him. He was really good in college. So and with running backs, if you're good in college, you usually can transfer that over to the NFL. Look at Saquon Barkley, Dalvin Cook, guys like that. Even not top tier running backs. I feel like Marlon Mack. He was Leonard Fournette. Guys like that, Nick Chubb, guys that weren't necessarily huge names in college but had good stats. They were able to replicate that in the NFL. I think it's the same thing with Bryce Love. I'm not really sold on Antonio Gibson yet, but we'll see as that goes. And as far as wide receivers go, you got Terry McLaurin. That's about it, man. They released Trey Quinn. Steven Sims is going to be the wide receiver too. If you haven't heard of him, he was rookie last year. He's going to be their wide receiver too. He's going to play a lot of slot this year for him. I was doing a lot of research on him beforehand because I really didn't know much about him, to be honest with you. But he looks like he's going to be the wide receiver too for them. And the fact that you haven't heard about him should tell you all you need to know about that wide receiver depth chart for the Redskins. Now, that being said, they do have Alex Smith on the depth chart. He is recovering. That is a miracle right there. That being said, if Alex Smith can become the quarterback of the Washington football team, I believe that they could move up a couple slots max. That's about it. But Washington football team will be number 31 for me. Number 30 at number 31 for CBS, they have the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them at number 30 for me. And here's talking about the Jaguars. Look, Gardner Minshew is a coin flip for me right now. I really don't know what I think about him. He's from my hometown in Mississippi. Look, here's the deal. He's got a wide receiver core around him. I think y'all have forgotten about how talented this Jacksonville wide receiver core is. DJ Shark's about the only one y'all probably know. He's pretty solid. He's a really, really good receiver, really underrated. Reminds me a lot of DJ Moore over at Carolina. But you got Dede Westbrook and Chris Conley on that wide receiver core. Now, I know you probably don't remember Dede Westbrook or Chris Conley, but a couple seasons ago, Dede Westbrook was a very big name in the NFL. Chris Conley also. So the wide receiver core at Jacksonville's kind of really underrated. And then you add Tyler Eifert over there from Notre Dame. Tyler Eifert was at the Cincinnati for a while. In his first couple seasons at Cincinnati, he was actually pretty solid. He is very injury prone. And that's why Cincinnati got rid of him, I believe. But he can be a big name tight end when he's healthy. He really can. Reminds me of a Zach Ertz. A lot of people compare him to Zach Ertz, and I actually really like that comparison because they're both pass-catching tight ends that can block when needed. So I think this Jaguars team could be promising, but it all really falls on Gardner Minshew. It's whether or not last year was a fluke or not. Because you look at it, there are a lot of quarterbacks that were good to start with, like good in their initial campaign, and then weren't and kind of fell off as they went on. Like look at Brock Osweiler. You don't even know him anymore, but he was solid. Remember Denver signed him to, not Denver, Houston signed him to that humongous contract, 4-year contract. Don't quote me on 4 years, but he signed a huge contract with Houston and ended up not being very good for them at all, and so that reminds me a lot of what Gardner Minshew might be going through, because they got rid of Nick Foles, who he thought there was their guy. They went out and got him in the offseason, signed him a big deal. They thought Nick Foles was their guy. Now he's at Chicago. But the thing is, do you trust Gardner Minshew that much? Because you do have Trevor Lawrence in the draft next year that you could very easily go out and get, and that is somebody right there that you can trust to come in. I don't trust Joe Burrow, but I do trust Trevor Lawrence because Trevor Lawrence is a stud. And he's got all the intangibles to be a really good NFL quarterback. But it's whether or not you trust Gardner Minshew. And then secondly, that running back depth chart. Jesus. Chris Thompson is your starter. This dude was in the XFL last year. He was decent at Washington, but then he just didn't get signed by anybody. They brought Devontae Freeman in for a visit this past Thursday. And I was almost positive they were going to sign. I think it was Tuesday actually, but I was almost positive they were going to sign him because right now Chris Thompson is your starting running back over there. And if you're tanking for Trevor Lawrence, yeah, don't waste any money on Devontae Freeman because he kind of wants a big contract. But still, you need somebody on that depth chart that can help Gardner Minshew out because regardless, if you can't run the ball, Gardner Minshew's not going to be as effective. Play action pass is still a thing. Look at Minnesota. Play action pass is a thing, and it's what makes Kirk Cousins effective. So it all depends on Gardner Minshew for me. So right now we have The Panthers at 30, and that's where I'm going to keep them. I actually agree with. I have the Panthers at. Excuse me. I have the Panthers at 29, but they have the Panthers at 30. I'm okay with that, but the Panthers for me would be 29 for me. Not much to talk about with the Panthers. I mean, they went out and got some free agents. You got Robbie Anderson from New York. He should be good. Help Teddy Bridgewater out. Here's what I think about when I think of Carolina. I'm not sure if you look at Carolina and you look what the offseason moves they've got, they made, and it's like they're half rebuilding and half not. And let me explain why I think that. Carolina has a quarterback they went and got this offseason, Teddy Bridgewater, young guy, but not too young. Christian McCaffrey, the franchise running back, never get rid of him. Got Ian Thomas, young tight end. DJ Moore, young receiver. Okay, Curtis Samuel was thought to be traded or released this offseason. He ended up never was. You've got Chris Hogan, a young wide receiver. You got Robbie Anderson, another wide receiver. Your offensive line, decent at best. And then you go on the defensive side of the ball, and you got some older guys over there. You know, you got Trey Boston, to your Whitehead. I mean, you got some guys that they kind of like just threw out there on the defensive end. And you got they released F.A. The last name starts. I don't want to try to pronounce it, but they released. He's on the practice squad now. So and he was thought to have been a starter. So you look at that and you're like, okay, so on the offensive side of the ball, you prepared to be young, and we're going to build that offense. But on defense, you got rid of Bradbury. You got rid of James Bradbury, who was a solid corner for y'all. I mean, that was somebody who you could put on Michael Thomas and be okay guard. I mean, right now, who are you going to put on Michael Thomas if you're Carolina? I don't know. So I'm not sure what to do. Their offense is going to be fun. Their defense it's going to be high scoring games if Carolina wins games. It's going to be high scoring games, especially in the division they're in. I mean, they're the worst team in their division, and that's saying something. I mean, they're still not a bad team. They're the worst in their division. I mean, you got Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, and Drew Brees as your opponents. Good luck seeing them. Good luck winning that division. It's not happening. It's not. I mean, you got the greatest Tom Brady, close up there, Drew Brees, and then Matty Ice. I mean, are you kidding me? No, good luck. Good luck winning that division. They've got the Jets at 29th, CBS does. I have the Jets at 32. That's why this is all, these teams have all been up one. So I've got the Jets at 32, then Washington, then Jacksonville, then Carolina. Here's the deal with the Jets. And, the Jets, in my opinion, are just an absolutely failed experiment. They're a failure. You went and got Adam Gase from Miami. How's that work for you? Not good at all. You went and signed Le'Veon Bell from Pittsburgh. How'd that work? Not good at all. You went and drafted Sam Darnold. How'd that work? Not good at all. So, and then your wide receiver core is a mess. Okay. You went and took, and Jamal Adams couldn't stand being there anymore, so now he's gone. He's in a better place. The Jets are just, ugh. They're just, I mean, they don't have a bright spot on their team. I mean, their offensive line is not good. Not good at all. Le'Veon Bell, right now, Le'Veon Bell might not even get as many snaps as he normally does because Frank Gore's about to take his spot. Frank Gore, that man's like 40 years old. Still effective, but he's old. So you had a Sam Darnold, Le'Veon Bell pairing that everybody in New York was excited about. And now, a couple years down the road, no one's excited about it anymore. Because, I mean, Le'Veon Bell has underperformed so much it's not even funny. And then Sam Darnold has come in, and he hasn't been able to perform.